Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and I've got you covered like a blanket. Civically Re-Engaged Women, also known as Crew. The crew is in the house, and the CEO, Sharon Nelson, has all the information. Tell us more about what you guys are working on.
Thank you, Dr. Bob. Good morning. How are
Good
you
morning.
today?
Good morning, good
Good.
afternoon, good evening.
All of the above. Anyway, I thank you so much for having me on the show. This is one of my favorite pit stops, as they say.
All right.
And I'm thrilled to be here because, Dr. Bob, oftentimes, well, just getting to your question first, Crew is working on a conference. We're doing a virtual celebration of the 19th Amendment, which is the 100th anniversary of American women getting the right to vote. That's going to be happening this July. The exact date is the 23rd to the 25th, but because it's an on conference, it'll be available then and also in the future.
Were you involved in Blackout Tuesday, the movement? Because women from all over participated in that, but you probably dipped in and dipped out, or somebody's going to tell you about it. But tell us about what the women's movement is all about, what you guys are doing.
Well, the women's movement is constantly evolving. There's nothing new about it. This has been as old as, I don't know, dirt history. The women's movement pretty much is an outgrowth of the bigger banner civil rights movement. And what has happened is there's a duality and a struggle. Even the racism is within the women's movement as well. And the thing that we all have to understand, and hopefully all of this unrest that we're going through at the moment with the death of George Floyd, is hopefully this country, which was built on compromise and complicity, hopefully a lot of that is coming to the light. And hopefully the discussions that need to be had are being had. And with the movement chiming in, we see a lot of talk. For example, right now, I saw on another show this morning that they were doing a whole exploration of how mothers are talking to their children, mothers of color. And it's really interesting to see the duality of Caucasian families and African American families or Hispanic families or whoever in this diaspora talking about things that don't seem to affect them or things they're frankly not aware of.
So we need to do something. I mean, there's going to have to be a stop. And people are going to have to come to the realization that, of course, we need peace, justice, policy, and then legislation.
See, this was my point about the women's movement being old and ongoing. We've had these issues from day one. Black women have struggled with white women, have struggled with men, have struggled with being heard and being seen. So all of these things are sort of linked together. When we look at the history of the evolution of this, the abolitionist movement in the United States was a movement of freeing the slaves. The people who get credit for the women's movement, they learned from two places. They learned from the abolitionist movement, but they also learned about using their voice and having power from the Native American women, which is a matrilineal society. In New York State, our Native Americans are known as the Haudenosaunee, which is Iroquois.
Haudenosaunee, yeah,
that's a good one to practice. They are the Iroquois Federation. The French Huguenots, when they came to America, decided to rename the Haudenosaunee Iroquois. But the point is, though, that people have to understand, all of a sudden, I guess, America is waking up to this idea like, oh my God, there are Black people with Black children out there, and what kinds of conversations do they have with their children? Because this is like an epiphany for them. And it's so amazing because as a Black man, Dr. Bob, you know from growing up what your life experience has been. Very similarly, other people of color, Black men, Black women, have similar experiences. We've experienced discrimination. We've experienced many different vicissitudes, both positive and negative. So this is not an anomaly for anybody of color
Yeah.
because we have good days and bad days like anybody else.
Do you believe that the centennial celebration of the 19th Amendment is important for African American women to participate in?
Absolutely. Like I said, African American women didn't just plop down all of a sudden in 1920 when women got the right to vote. This struggle has been ongoing, Dr. Bob. We will
Yeah.
see in history.
How did you come up with the name? You named the conference Seneca Falls Revisited. Tell us about that.
Well, and it's funny because it's a good segue in, because I very much believe that there were African American women there, and they're very famous and very well respected historians who have done the due diligence. But all of these people, or for the most part, the people that I know, are Caucasian. So they don't understand that, Black people were counted in different ways, particularly if you had any kind of white ancestry. There were Cateroons, Octoroons, all of these different things which had a designation of how Black you were. Oh yeah, so Crew got to be, as Seneca Falls Revisited was named Revisited because I want to bring it back. I want to dial it back to 1848 to say, in fact, Black women weren't just hatched. We didn't just come out of space. We were very much there. We were always part of this dialogue. The difference is we were not allowed to be counted and present. So therefore, with that missing factor, there is no way of documenting, XYZ or this one and that one, whatever their names were in fact African American, because they had the border protection or they had the access.
How's your outreach and how are we teaching others, and what would you like them to learn about your organization and what you're doing?
One of the things, and I'll put everybody on notice because I have to say, due to COVID-19 and now with this race relations situation going on, I'm very disappointed in our current leadership. Of course, there are exceptions and some people are doing terrific jobs, but the majority of our leadership, they're acting like constituents. And I think that there needs to be a real serious education process, because they have to understand they are the ones with the power.
So you're not only talking about on a local level, you're talking about on a national level also as well.
Absolutely. I cannot even tell you, Dr. Bob, when this thing happened with George Floyd, how many calls I got sitting right here in New York City. I got calls from Texas. I got calls from Minnesota. I got calls Virginia, other places, because I got started as the president of National Women's Political Caucus for New York. So my members have moved different places and all that. And some of these people I have not been in touch with since 2017, but they call because they want to know, what can we do? How can we get involved here? What should our strategy be? And this is what Crew does. Crew teaches you to stop, think, assess. And this is the difference between a politician who's kind of going along and getting along and saying what they think their constituents want to hear versus somebody who has a real plan.
Where can we go for more information on what you're doing?
Well, I have a couple of places. We can go for the basic overall about Crew. There's www.crewomen.org. If you would like to sign up for the conference, that's www.crewomen.tv. I want to mention, Dr. Bob, that Crew Women has a OTT nonprofit network. So we have the ability to broadcast.
Is that on the website? That's on the website also?
That's what Crew TV is. When you go to the Crew TV site, you will see.
Sharon, thank you so much. Sharon Nelson, CEO, Civically Re-Engaged Women. The Crew is in the house. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
And I really appreciate you for having me on, and keep fighting that good fight.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a break. I've got more coming up next on Open.